Pokemon trainers, welcome to episode 61 of Gotta Watch 'Em All, the podcast that brings together all types of Pokemon fandom before watching along with an episode of Pokemon the series, starting all the way back at episode 1, but today we're going to be watching episode 61. It's Mr. Mime Time. Today's Thursday, March 21st. Dude, I know. When I saw the title, I was like, this is going to be great already. I'm one of your hosts, Ken Pescator. The other voice you heard is my co-host, Adam. That's Adam Tuttle.
Yeah,
Adam.
That's me.
Hi.
With the voice.
How are you?
Doing fantastic.
How about you, Ken? Are you ready for Mr. Mime Time? I'm ready for Mr. Mime
I'm ready for the pantomime.
I'm totally ready. Many light shields will be had today.
Yes.
Little housekeeping really quick. This podcast is powered by Patreon. Please check ours out over at patreon.com/gottawatchemall, where you can support this show for as little as $1 a month. And that $1 will get you access to our patron-exclusive Discord, which is a fantastic place filled with fantastic people.
You know it is.
And I want to give a huge shout-out to our show supporter tier patrons. I got to take a deep breath here. Brittany, Jay, Jessica, Keith, Matt, M. Pitts, Terry, David, Chris, Sydney, Bacon L, The Noise, Harry, PokeNavBot, and Purple Pancakes. And also, I want to give a huge shout-out to Jennifer, Nate, and Robin for all joining at the Discord tier this week. Thank you guys so much.
Family.
Yes, welcome to the show. Welcome to the party. Can't wait to catch up with everybody in Discord. So thanks so much for that. On today's show, we might be on Season 2 of Pokemon the series, but Season 22 is actually about to come out, so we'll dig into that a little bit. Pokemon Go has the Equinox event going on right now. Adam will run us through a deck analysis of a Celebi and Venusaur GX Tag Team deck, which is very, very interesting. It runs a very low count of Pokemon. They released an article about Pokemon Let's Go endgame. It's definitely evident that they want to maintain mind share and mind space and keep you in the Pokemon mindset until, Sword and Shield comes out. So they're starting to really push endgame on Let's Go. And Pokemon Center, very fitting, has released a Mr. Mime set of products, and we'll talk about that along with some other pieces as well. And then we'll finally do our watch along of episode 61. It's Mr. Mime Time. But all right, let's start by talking about season 22 of Pokemon the series. It's going to be called Ultra Legends.
Ultra Legends. So that must mean we get Ultra Necrozma.
Yeah, I'd imagine that we're going to start to see a bunch more Ultra Beasts. We'll probably get Ultra Necrozma, all that good stuff. The big deal here is that Hau is finally going to be introduced into the anime. It only took 3 series of Sun and Moon, 3 seasons of Sun and Moon for it to happen, but he'll be coming in. I thought he was a really cool character when I played through Sun and Moon, so it's exciting to see him there. And they did release the theme song. Adam, have you heard it?
I have not.
It's definitely an island feel. It really fits at home with the Alolan vibe. I really dig it. It's definitely a departure from what we're used to coming off like Season 1, Season 2 kind of thing. If you go to Pokemon.com, I'll link it in the description. They put together a very brief summary of both Sun and Moon and Sun and Moon Ultra Adventures. So if you didn't watch the first 2 seasons of the Sun and Moon arc, this will kind of catch you up. And then you'll be ready for Ultra Legends. So heavy spoilers if you check it out, but I'll link to it in the description. It's definitely like a too long didn't read kind of thing. If you just want to get caught up, read the cliff notes. Yeah, totally. Because there's a lot of episodes in every season, so there's a lot to get caught up on. So,
and that's why we're here. We're gonna keep you
just want to breeze, dude. It's gonna, I think
there's only start back at the beginning.
Yeah, there's like we're creeping on 1,100 episodes or something like that. So. It's gonna be a long run. We're on 61. It's gonna be a long run of podcast. I want to know what you guys think of the new animation style. They've kind of gone more and more aggressive with how the battles look, and they've kind of gone more and more basic with how the characters look. So it's definitely unique. I definitely see more Japanese tropes happening in the episodes when I'm watching Sun and Moon. So let us know what you guys think. I'm really excited for Ultra Legends. I'm really excited for Hau. I just think that dynamic of having a true friendly rival, like not like a Gary. Hau is always happy, always welcoming, always offering him things, but then at the same time, trying to throw down, at a moment's notice, always trying to battle, but is super friendly. So I think that dynamic is going to be really, really cool to see. Pokemon Go. Equinox event, 19th
the event
through the 22nd.
That brought no shinies.
All right,
except for Solrock.
So, I recommend everyone checks out our other podcast, Lured Up. This is a podcast dedicated just to Pokemon Go because we're going to dig into this pretty significantly this week. We've been talking about how the game has just been nonstop events. The community has kind of become, spoiled is definitely a harsh word. But the expectation level is high with all these events because they just constantly are force-feeding us event after event after event. Now, what they started to do was backpedal a little bit, starting with the Rayquaza raid weekend that was last week, where they didn't offer the shiny. People got upset about that. In practice, it turned out to be A-okay because people were just excited to do Rayquaza. It didn't seem like you were missing much. So we kind of discussed how it felt like a little bit of a backpedal on the event barrage, and softened the blow of the fear of missing out. If I don't get a chance to go out during the Rayquaza weekend, I'm not going to stress too bad because there's no shiny. It's not like I'm going to miss an exclusive Pokemon or an exclusive move. So it softened that fear of missing out. Now with this event, they initially didn't announce any shinies, but they used Oddish as like the poster child of the event. It turns out that Oddish was not the shiny Pokemon, and it in fact was Solrock and Lunatone, which are going to be changing regions. So now we here in the States have Solrock again, but the
which
spawn
I guess
rates,
makes sense, but
they're so low. The spawn rate is so low that for the first 2 days of the event, I did not see one Solrock. And it wasn't until yesterday when I had partly cloudy weather that boosts rock spawns that I finally started seeing some Solrock. And, it was great because they were boosted 1,500.
4 o'clock yesterday as well.
But, the spawn rate was just so incredibly low. Now, it kind of made me think, well, maybe, again, they're backpedaling on the barrage of events. They're backpedaling on, trying to curb people's expectations of these events. And it slightly backfired on this one. So people were upset that the spawns were kind of sparse. They were upset that the shinies were not spawning like the other grass Pokemon were. There was no actual bonus, like no Stardust bonus, no XP bonus. So you start to really see the salt come out online of people, where their expectations aren't anywhere to being close to being met. And I totally get it, because they've just given us so much. Increased spawns, new Pokemon, one will be shiny, double Stardust, half hatch distance, whatever. All this stuff kind of stacked on top of each other. And then we would even have 2 events stacked on top of each other. So all this stuff was happening. So when they do a single event and it seems lackluster, even though they are giving us new stuff, shiny Lunatone, shiny Solrock, it just doesn't seem enough. So let's open that dialogue. Check out luredup.com next week, because we're going to go into it like an extended deep dive into this conversation of do we just need to change our expectations? Does the community at large need to change their expectations, or does Niantic really just have to keep the pressure on when it comes to rolling this content out? I don't know. What do you think of the event? Are you enjoying it at all, or
knowing that like Community Day for Trico is coming up? I have tons of Trico spawns, so it makes, and I traded, got 100% lucky, so
yeah, that's ridiculous.
That, and I caught 298%, so I'm ready for Community Day. I'm just more focused on shiny hunting now, because
how's your Solrock spawns? You said you hadn't seen any, right?
I hadn't seen any till yesterday. And
see, that's weird.
And I saw a whole bunch, and then they kind of went away. It's almost like they're in like certain times they're just pumping them up, and then they're gone. I drove through town, couldn't find any. Drove back through town. Oh, there's a whole bunch.
Well, that a lot of people on the European side were saying that Lunatone is only spawning at night. We're only seeing Solrock during the day. So not only are we talking about regional Pokemon here, but we're also talking about regional Pokemon that have a limited spawn window. So that just kind of really dials back the amount of Pokemon that you're going to see in the wild. So definitely an interesting topic. Let us know what you feel. And check out luredup.com for a deeper dive on the Equinox event. And like Adam mentioned, this Saturday, the 23rd, Trico Community Day. Adam, you want to take us through this deck profile on Celebi and Venusaur GX Tag Team? This is coming from Pokemon.com. Have you checked out this list?
I have checked it out. So you've got 8 Pokemon. That's it.
Well, 8 Pokemon cards, only 2 different cards.
You have Shaman and Celebi Venusaur GX. And now the Shaman on the bench has Floral Heal. And it says, once during your turn before you attack, you may heal 20 damage from your active grass Pokemon. So the key is to have 4 of those on the bench. If they attack your Venusaur, you're I'm going to heal 20, 40, 60, 80 damage.
Well, you can even pair that with a Life Forest Prism Star, which is going to give you 60 additional.
Or you can play Gardena, and Gardena will heal 60 damage from you, or 80 damage. You can play Acerola, so if there is damage, you can just scoop it up. So it's gonna you make it impossible for them to actually knock it out unless they can hit it in one shot.
Well, this is such a departure from the Zapdos Jirachi deck that we were looking at over the past 2 weeks, where that was like super fast, super hard hitting, and you would get Jirachi in there, bring your Zapdos in, make your attack, and then escape rope him out or switch him out or Guzma or something like that. So it was like these quick hits and boom, boom, boom. This deck seems like it's completely defensive, completely tanky. The stall tactics are real, and when you look at something like an Evergreen GX, you can bring all of your discard, put your entire discard pile back into your deck. That's insane.
Which that card used to be in supporter form as Lysander's trump card, and that's banned. Well, it's banned now. But it was like the first card that got banned because it is so powerful. Can you imagine
being having 2 prizes left, right? And you're however many turns into the game, you've played 15 trainer cards, and then you run in at the Evergreen GX, and then all of a sudden, your Venusaur just allowed you to gobble up every single trainer card back into your deck, and now you can go fishing for those cards again and run those same cards again. It's relentless, and I think that the end game of this deck is pretty awesome, where your opponent might think that they have it in the bag, and then all of a sudden you recycle all these trainers back into your deck, and you can kind of just rebuild
all the healing
from the
cards.
Beginning. Yeah, it's massive.
And you stop them by playing like Crushing Hammers. So you flip a coin. If heads, you discard an energy attached to the defending Pokemon. So
they can't even attack.
Exactly.
And if they do get the attack off, you could heal so much. It's a really cool deck. I actually want to hit this up on YouTube and see this deck in action, because I've been so used to watching the hard-hitting Zapdos deck. I've been all over that deck, over the past couple of weeks, just watching that in action, that I want to see this. I want to see a different style, because I think that it would really take a significant paradigm shift in what I think of when I'm, playing competitive to make this actually work, just because you have to be so patient and just stall. I don't know if I could have that patience.
I know, everything's so fast-paced right now. Especially with Zapdos, it just makes it so hard, because they're just Guzma, knockout. They would basically Guzma, knockout Shaman, and try to take 3 prizes that way, and then aim to knock out one of the Venusaur GX, but because it's the only way to play the game. So with knowing that, you can only play 2 Shamans down at a time, because they're gonna Guzma around your Venusaur.
Yeah, and in the fact that Venusaur requires so much energy, well, I guess if you're running a double colorless, really, to get that Evergreen off, you have to have 1 extra energy attached to be able to run, pull those cards back. So, but think about it, if you're using a Crushing Hammer or something like that, and you just are plucking away energy from opponents, that could really grief someone to death. That's brutal.
Yes.
Very cool. I'll put the link in the description so you can check out the list. But what's your overall thoughts on it?
I think it does have a place in the meta. Not a lot of people are playing it, and most people are set in their ways with the Zapdos Jirachi deck, or playing Pika Rom.
Yeah, I've watched Azul put together a slight variation of the Zapdos deck, and had a really nice explanation of how to execute with that deck, and I can't recommend his videos enough. I'll link to him in the description too, because I know you've been a big fan of his videos and how descriptive he is, and how he really takes this educational perspective and walks you through everything. So I started watching the videos, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's absolutely right. I do understand. It was I felt like a better player after watching a couple of his vids. So I'll link to him.
But because he explains
it was really
why
cool
he
to see the
does what he
Zapdos in
does.
action. Yeah, exactly. It's you know why, and what's cool is he studies the other decks so well that he's able to predict what's going on. I bet you this card is going to come out, or I bet you he's going to try to pull this move off, and that's what happens, and he's prepared for it every time. So it's really cool to see his blend of offense and defense, and how he shows how important it is to kind of play both sides of the fence like that. So very, very cool. But I definitely want to check out this deck in action.
And I did go to a tournament, and out of the 4 decks that I played, 3 of them were Zapdos Jirachi with Eevee and Jolteon GX.
Yeah,
and I did see one of those the Vileplume stall decks as well. But I played a Malamar. I was playing Malamar. But yeah, I won 2 and lost 2.
Well, that's not bad.
I got 6th place.
No, it's good. It's good that you're getting back in the grind, man. I think that's cool, and I know you. It brings you a lot of joy, so I'm happy for you.
Yes.
endgame of Pokemon Let's Go. This is very interesting.
People
That
play that game?
Pokemon.com, dude. I was laughing the other day because it came up in conversation at work. I was talking to someone. And they're like, oh, yeah, Pokemon Let's Go, I got it, and blah, blah, blah. How far did you get? And I'm like, oh, I got to Fuchsia City, and then it just seems like I stopped playing. And they're like, why Fuchsia City? What was so special about that? They had no idea about the Pokemon Go connection. And I was like, well, that's where you have to get to the point to be able to transfer Pokemon from Pokemon Go. And I kind of just stalled out, right at Fuchsia City. And it's like, whenever I turn on the game, I'm like already in Pokemon Go parks. They're standing at the counter. It's like, yep, that's how far I got. The counter at Pokemon Go Park. It's like, but.
And then I kind of go to the right, and then I go surfing in the water and just watch all the water Pokemon, and that's how I shiny hunt.
Yeah,
I don't actually progress.
But what Pokemon.com did was they put together a pretty comprehensive article of things you can do in the end game, because the end game is typically where the hardcore are going to live in the main series. This is where, people are going to start getting into breeding or collecting and, completing the Pokedex, shiny hunting, all that kind of stuff. So they wanted to make sure that people were aware that just because this isn't a new generation, just because this isn't, a 3DS game, even though Sword and Shield is going to be coming to the Switch, that there is a complete end game experience. They talk about the legendaries and how even before beating the Elite Four, you can go after the three birds. They talk about, how important it is to complete the Pokedex. They talk about the gym leader rematches. You can grind gym leaders for resources once you beat the Elite Four. The Master Trainer challenges. I thought the Master Trainer challenges were going to be way more popular. And it doesn't seem, even like the YouTubers, it seems like they don't cover that too much in the end game because, one, it's exceptionally difficult, and it's a very, very big grind. So it's like, oh, yeah, okay, I'm going to go against the Pidgey trainer, you know what I mean? And to really build up, a bunch of Pidgeys or something, it just seemed like a little bit too far outside of the box. It seemed good on paper, but in practice, I haven't seen a lot of it on YouTube, and that's typically a good barometer of, how well people feel about a certain feature or mechanic, and I don't really see it, but...
I mean, there's no Delibird trainer, so, like...
Dude, you're so focused on the Delibird, man.
Yeah.
Christmas. Maybe for Christmas you'll get something. You'll get some Delibird stuff. But check out the article on Pokemon.com. I'll link to it in the description. If you did get through Pokemon Let's Go, let us know. Let us know what you do to kind of bide your time in that game. Are you interested in completing the decks? Are you trying to catch all the legendaries? Are you, soft resetting at Mewtwo for a shiny Mewtwo, over and over and over? Let us know how you guys are still engaging with Let's Go, because I've been slacking. I'm Fuchsia City, baby.
Slacking like a slacker.
That's why I need Sword and Shield, so I can turn this around in the VG side of things.
That's what we said about Sun and Moon, right?
Yeah. Man, Pokemon Go, it's so dominating.
Yes. It takes all my time.
All right, Adam, take us through Pokemon Center. Very fitting products that we have out this week.
Mr. Mime, Time to Dance.
I absolutely love this. I think this is such a cool design, and it's very fitting not only with Detective Pikachu, but with the episode that we're going to be watching today.
Yes. It's very, poppy. Like you'd see it in, an old school music video.
It's like 80s style. It's total 80s style. Like, it almost reminded me of, I remember being in, 5th or 6th grade in my school photo background. You could have, the library or the sky or the lasers.
Yeah.
I want the lasers. And that's what it kind of reminds me of, like a disco or something like that.
And there's a water bottle, so that just in case you get all sweaty and you need to hydrate, stay hydrated. There's a play mat, which actually looks sick. I actually really want that one.
Yeah, it's nice.
There's pins. There's a 3-ring binder, and there's a nice hoodie.
Yeah, the hoodie's legit.
Oh, okay, hold on. I didn't look at the back of the hoodie. Okay, yes, the hoodie.
That's what I'm talking about. Look at the design. It's great. All right, so we've talked before about the cost of some of these plushes on Pokemon Center. I bought, I think it was like a 22 or 23-inch Ditto that was like $50 or something like that. And that was an expensive plush, but it's awesome. I use it as a pillow. It's super cute. It's great. This one, $130 for a plush. But what they're saying here is this is called a squishy plush, so I'd imagine that this kind of feels like memory foam.
It's got to be memory foam because it looks like you put your hand in there and then it goes bloop bloop bloop. Just
yeah, and it would kind of
it.
that's what I mean. And like it says that it doesn't say it's memory foam. It says resilient, soft fabric and filling that's denser and squishier than usual. But it really looks like it would have that kind of like a gel, almost like the top part of a gel mattress or something like that. But for $130, I'd imagine that it's got to be good quality. But man, I don't think I'd be able to sleep at night if I spent $130 on a plush.
Well, somebody can.
Not me.
Not me.
If you have $130 to blow on a Ditto squishy plushie, let us know. Send us a video of you squishing your face into it. That's what I want to see. All right, a couple bits of miscellaneous news here before we jump into our episode. This took me by total surprise. Pokemon Duel has been downloaded 40 million times. What? And on top of that, they released a ridiculous subscription package for hardcore Duel players where you can pay like $18 a month, a subscription recurring $18 a month charge to get exclusive access into Pokemon Duel. It's crazy.
Define exclusive access.
You get extra pieces, extra plates, extra, little things that you can get every month that are recurring, access to different tournaments, things like that. I can't imagine being that hardcore about Duel that it would be worth a recurring monthly charge. Like I think of like that being more expensive than Netflix. And it's like, wow, I don't know. I think I'd rather have Netflix than a free figure of Pokemon Duel every month. But I don't know. Wow. I don't know if I could do that. But 40 million downloads, I'm sure a ton of those came from the Pokemon Go side because already in the mobile space, this kind of was pushed through the middle of Pokemon Go. But 40 million downloads, it is definitely impressive. Unbroken Bonds, the next release for the TCG, they do have a date now. May 3rd, 2019 will be the release of this. Pokebeach.com has a bunch of, preview stuff. We don't really typically talk about stuff that hasn't come out yet, only because there's so much stuff to talk about that is out. But they did release a date for it, May 3rd, 2019. So prepare yourself and your wallets for that. And I do want to take a little bit of a second here to talk about some upcoming guests that we're going to have on the show. So over on the Lured Up podcast, we've been running guests for like the last 6 or 7 weeks. We've got guests lined up for like the next 6 or 7 weeks, and it's been very great for us. We've met so many great creators, all these great new people. We've been in front of so many new communities, different segments of Pokemon fandom. It's been awesome.
And we want to bring more in.
Yeah, we want to start doing that over here on this side at Gotta Watch 'Em All. So we do have some confirmed guests that I'm really excited to talk about. Bulbadork, who's a fantastic Instagram creator that does some really unique and cool things on Instagram, will be coming on the show. Very excited for that. SBJ, the host of It's Super Effective, the longest running and biggest Pokemon podcast at large, will be coming on. I cannot wait to talk to SBJ. I know he's done a bunch of Pokemon Go podcasts. I want to get him on here so we can talk about TCG.
Excited for this.
He just got back from Japan, so I think he went to 4 or 5 different Pokemon centers in Japan.
Wow.
So I definitely want to pick his brain about that. He went to the Pokemon Cafe. He ate all the cool Pokemon foods. Like, I just want to absolutely pick his brain. And then we have Shiny Desi, a fantastic Twitch streamer that does tons of shiny hunting in Pokemon Let's Go and the handheld games. Can't wait to have Shiny Desi on as well. So we've got a bunch of guests coming on. Definitely be sure to check us out in the future and stay tuned because we're going to be bringing some cool creators on over the next couple weeks. We're going to take a quick break, and then when we get back, we're going to watch episode 9 of The Adventures in the Orange Islands. It's Mr. Mime time. So we'll be right back right after this. And we're back. Thanks so much for that. All right, we have our Amazon Prime video queued up to episode 9 of Adventures in the Orange Islands. It's Mr. Mime time. This was
Mr. Mime time.
I can't say it without laughing. It's the funniest thing ever. This episode's original air date in Japan was September 24th, 1998, as episode 64. In the U.S., it came out September 27th, 1999, as episode 61, as it currently sits now. All right, man, let's get this thing going in 3, 2, 1, go. So,
drum roll.
Drum roll, please. This was an episode that I at first I didn't remember it from originally watching it back in the day, and then there was a certain thing that happens that I'll talk about when we get there that kind of brought it rushing back into my mind space of of remembering that this episode actually happened, because there's some pretty funny stuff that goes on.
Did you say
in this
MySpace?
episode. In MySpace? Did you hear what happened to MySpace?
No.
They had like a major server failure, and they lost like over 10 years worth of music that was stored on their servers.
Oh, wow.
It's like, I know so many bands that like that was like their backup. They're like, you know, that they've always kept in the background, and yeah, it's all gone. So bad.
Well,
Sing it with us. Pokemon. You know, I was listening to Video Games Live today, which is a orchestral version of the Pokemon Go like live show that they do, and level 6, the sixth record, they actually do the Pokemon Go theme and brought the original singer back, which is really cool.
oh, that's excellent.
Hi, Mom, it's me. I'm coming home. And
So I forget what episode it was when they first used the video phone, but like this was, you got to remember, this was 1999. You know, this was like way before, you know, this could have been really, you know, a thing. It's Mr. Mime Time.
Well, the opening was Ash, calling his mom, and she totally trolls him by
Yeah,
the
she does.
video message. He
I know.
thought it was her.
That's like when you have an answer machine that's like, hello, hello, I can't hear you.
Come on, Ash.
Slow it down a little, will you?
Ash is so excited to get
So
home.
I
like,
look how, like, I love the animation here. Like, look how fast it looks like they're running. Like they really sold that.
Second now, Pikachu.
Ooh!
Really hurt.
What's wrong?
Why'd you stop running?
Well-
I ran into this wall.
He slammed into a wall.
Hey,
I feel it. See?
See?
invisible wall.
It's an invisible wall. What is this? Where did it come from?
Look at. Oh, it's so weird.
It's just a Mr. Mime, which
Look at
looks
his-
like a spider
Look at
climbing
his
up
creepy shoes.
this glass.
Mr. Mime, the barrier Pokemon. It uses pantomime to make actual walls appear. Because it is rarely discovered, information
It's.
about this Pokemon
Can we
is
agree that
extremely
Mr. Mime is definitely the creepiest Pokemon out of
But Mr.
all
Mime,
Pokemon,
huh?
all generations?
I just found a really rare
Creepiest.
Pokemon without even looking. Now, I'll catch it with my Pokeball and... Please stop.
Stop.
A lady in uniform.
No way. Why should I? I'm the one who saw it first.
Ash, be polite. My name is.
I love. As soon as I saw this, I smirked so bad. I was like, oh my god. I was like, here we go.
Please, miss, hurry up.
The thirst.
Brock starts blushing.
Wait, don't run away. I need you, Mr. Mime.
What's up with this? Look at this terrible throw. Oh, it hits this. It hits the light screen.
No.
Yes.
That's why the ball stops. I was like, she
Jeez,
can't
you
throw.
thought she threw it awfully? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I got away.
Huh?
Whatever your problem is, I feel it's my duty to help.
I'm so thirsty. I'll help you do whatever you need.
Pokemon Circus.
I actually love that
Pokemon
logo. Like, look how cool that
Hey,
looks.
Stella, and I'm the ringmaster of this circus. Cool.
You must really love Pokemon, so we have a lot in common.
I hate Pokemon.
Well, you love Pokemon.
Yo,
We have
what's
a
up
lot
with
in
these three?
common.
The circus? Almost. What'll we do? Our Mr. Mime won't go on.
So I love that, one, that he has his own trailer, right?
Look.
2, there's like a viewing window. And check him out. Yo, he's living his best life right now.
Looks like a total slob.
Eating potato chips. Being a
Afraid
potato.
that's my fault. I wanted it to be perfect, so I trained it hard, night and day. Yesterday it quit right
We
in the middle of the
basically,
show.
it's a slave. And
Yeah, I like that's what I
we-
mean. She's like, oh yeah, she's upset that he won't perform anymore. But then she goes and says, yeah, I worked him hard night and day. It's like, well, what do you think, man?
Another one to be its competition.
I get it. That'd make your Mr. Mime jealous, and it would start performing again.
Right.
Is that how it works? Is that how jealousy works?
Because he's jealous of Gary.
I'm so jealous of you. Let me work harder.
I'm 10 times better than Gary. See what I mean?
It's so good.
Stella, I'm gonna get you a new Mr. Mime today.
Oh, look at Brock. Brock, have you ever seen a Mr. Mime?
I
except for
know.
today?
He's so confident. It's like, really, dude?
Call me Brock the Rock for nothing.
All right,
They
Brock the
don't call
Rock.
me Brock the Rock.
Can we have this stick, please?
Brock, it's gonna be tough to catch that Mr.
Brock
Mime,
the
you know.
Rock.
I don't have to catch a Mr. Mime if I can make one.
Oh man, it's so dumb. It's so cheesy.
It's so creepy.
Look at the creepy
Look at
fingers.
my
He's
creepy
got drowsy
fingers.
fingers.
Look at my creepy fingers. Brock is just
What kind
like, I'm gonna make Ash my puppet.
So this is the part that I was talking about that kind of reminded me of that this episode actually existed. It's like, what the? Look how look, the balloon looks so little.
That's a Team Rocket fortress.
What do you three want?
Sir, please
It's so
forgive us
good.
for what happened at the Viridian Gym.
It was a
So remember, I think in the end of last episode, we were kind of saying like, well, what the heck happened to Armored Mewtwo? Like, so
He's just chilling in the background there.
yeah, he's still with Giovanni. He's safe, but we still don't know what happened to like Golem and Rhydon.
Search the entire universe, but they'll never find a
Pokemon Sword and Shield, Armored Mewtwo.
Right? This is where Mewtwo returns.
That's where
the
Mewtwo
end
strikes
boss.
back.
We're lucky that
They'd fit with the movie, and then they just be like, "Oh, it's from the Galar region."
Pokemon come up and smack you in the face.
Whoopsh.
Oh, Pokemon smacking you in the face.
maybe they do.
I love that Pokemon Circus logo. Like, look how awesome that looks. That's so cool. I just love it.
That needs to be a pin.
Oh, creepy.
Rocky's perfect.
So this was what I was talking about. So I had completely forgot about this scene. I completely forgot that they did this. It's like, where the heck did they get the outfit, first of all? And I love that he's still wearing his hat underneath the mask.
I'd love to wear it, but I'm just too tall.
And how could I hide this face? I won't do it.
Brock's too tall. Misty does not want to hide her face.
Got to. It's my only hope.
I know, but
And Ash, what is he, like hunchbacked in there? Like,
just give it a try.
I know, it like forces you to have this weird shape.
I don't know how to do any of Mr. Mime's tricks.
Don't worry about that, Ash. Stella will use
Stella's gonna kick your butt in like 2 seconds.
everything you need to know. Isn't that right, Stella?
Leave everything to me. I'll have you doing Mr.
and then you can
Mime's
understand
acting no
why
time at all.
Mr. Mime
I don't
ran
know.
away.
Please say yes, Ash, please say
Oh, wait, no.
Well, it's like I want to know the story behind these three because like why are they so weird?
in the circus.
All right.
Immediately she busts the whip out. What the?
That whip.
It'll whip you into shape, Ash.
I love that like Brock thinks this is
Stella's
funny.
not as sweet as she looks, is she?
Okay, let's see some pantomime.
She's like, I don't even know what to do. What are you talking about?
Talking and start
He's like, I can barely fit into this.
He's like, he goes, before like 2 minutes ago, I never even saw a Mr. Mime ever.
Mr. Mime quit.
No! Put more feeling in it.
How can I put
And I like how he's sweating, like the Japanese trope sweat mark, like through the costume. She's no joke.
Again. Faster. No.
Oh man, she's going ham
This
on him.
doesn't seem
It's
to
not
be
working.
working, does it?
He's still eating chips.
Mime doesn't care about the competition.
Yeah.
See, like, what makes Mr. Mime so weird is just he's just humanoid. So like when he's just chilling, it just looks like a human. So it's weird.
Ladies and gentlemen and children of all ages, here are the stars of the Pokemon Circus.
She looks weird too as a clowny person.
Oop, Muscly Machoke.
Machoke is
Coming on
cool,
stage.
but again, humanoid. Humanoid Pokemon are weird.
You got Tangela and some Execute hopping in.
Look how big the Dodrio is.
Hey, look, here comes our new Mr. Mime.
Oh, I can't wait to see him.
He's got a full house.
He's so creepy. Even the mask is creepy. Immediately spots
his
mom in the
is
crowd.
audience.
There's my mom.
Ash, be quiet.
Shut your mouth, bro.
What happened to the lights?
Is this part of the show, Brock?
This part was
This
actually
is-
pretty cool because I could see this happening and then everyone kind of being confused.
Ladies and gentlemen, prepare for trouble.
Children of all ages, make it double.
Children.
Didn't you say a couple weeks ago you like when they do like variations of their theme?
Yes.
Yeah, this is cool.
And this here, they're doing all the acrobatics while doing it.
Whee! But it's like they just fall.
Team Rocket blast over the speed of light.
Surrender now, over
And defy physics.
That's right. Well,
How climactic.
It's Team Rocket.
They're gonna steal the show.
Hold on to your cotton candy, kid.
Hold on to your cotton candy,
Yeah.
kid.
Mime.
Aw, but I'm not.
Dude, don't break the character. Method acting.
Pokemon to work without a net.
So they... Oh, do you see, look how he, like, grabbed her around the neck. That was so funny. Like, you couldn't just grab her arm and pull her away. You had to, like, choke slam her.
Oh,
And I like how they break, like, a hole in the tent. Like, the tent was, like, rigid.
We've got to get him back.
Misty, Brock.
It's Ash's mom.
That
It's
wasn't
Ash's
Mr.
mom.
It was Ash, wasn't
It's
it?
like, all right, how did she know that was Ash?
That's right. I knew
And
it.
why is she so calm that her son just got kidnapped?
well, no, they explain as to why. Like, she goes into detail. She's like, "Well, I'm not worried about Ash."
She should be. She should be. He just flew away 200 feet up in the air and attached to a balloon and a rope.
Worry about.
But Mrs. Ketchum, Team Rocket just kidnapped your son.
Don't worry.
That, Misty. Team Rocket thought they were getting a Mr. Mime. Once they realized they took Ash instead, I'm sure they'll let him go.
And how does she know about Team Rocket?
I'd like to see the look on their faces when they find
I
out
don't
they
know.
got Ash.
Yeah.
Why don't you come back to my house and have something to eat?
She's just
I'm
so
sure
chill.
she's a home
It's
cooked
like, is she
meal.
really that oblivious, or is she just like that confident in Ash?
She's
She
got.
shouldn't have any confidence in Ash at all. She hasn't seen him in a year. She doesn't even know him anymore.
Who is that? That's not my
She
son.
doesn't even answer his phone calls.
And this couldn't have happened at a better time. Now the boss can't say that we never bring him any unusual.
The other thing I want to know is who the heck taught Team Rocket how to tie knots?
I'm even more unusual than you think.
Oh, it's Ash.
I'm no Mr. Mime, but I was good
The
enough
Team
to
Rocket
get
theme
there.
starts playing.
Though
I know,
I
it's so
guess
funny.
that's not saying very much.
That thing is half twerp.
Insults.
Half twerp, half mime.
Act like you're trapped in a bubble.
I'm not a Mr. Mime. I just play one on TV.
That was a pretty funny line. I gotta give it to them.
Yeah.
Tricked us.
As they just let him, like, he just walks
I know, he
out,
just
like,
walks. He's like, all right, I'm out.
We put a stop to this humiliation once and for all.
and they are so angry.
Yeah,
And he takes their
jacks the
balloon.
I know, that's the best part. That's the best part of the whole thing. He just jumps in the balloon and takes off.
My head on that balloon.
That's my head.
Thanks for the meal.
Delicious. Yes, thank you. It was my pleasure.
I hope you enjoyed the
Ash is
meal,
friends are
even
welcome
though
here
my son is still
anytime.
kidnapped.
Ash sure is lucky to have such a great mom, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got such a great mom.
Yo, Brock absolutely hitting on Ash's mom right now to the point where she blushes.
Thanks again. Pika pika.
You're welcome. Come back again soon.
Mr. Mime.
Oh,
Okay,
Mr. Mime
let's
hides in a bush.
Let's take note of not only
getting
we've
worried
already
about
determined
Ash.
Mr. Mime is
He's
super
all
creepy,
right.
but the voice of Mr. Mime is just adds an extra layer of creepiness.
Ash, thank
Just
goodness
listen.
You're safe.
Mime.
Oh, it's creepy.
So glad you're
Mime.
home. Brock and Misty and Stella told me why you're wearing the Mr. Mime costume.
It'd be great if she like
You're
started
really
to try to
trying
like
get Mr.
take the
Mime,
head
aren't
off.
you?
Like, why won't this
Our
come
lunch
off?
Ready in just a minute. Here you go.
Mr. Mime.
He's like, this
Gives
isn't like
Mr. Mime a
Poke
feast.
Puffs.
Delicious.
I know.
Plenty more if you want
These are my
plenty.
potato chips. I want my potato chips.
Mime.
And he eats it just, he's got hands, like, just
Well,
eats it
that's
like a
what
normal
I'm
human.
telling you. That's the creepiness because it's humanoid. So creepy.
Mom is gonna be totally surprised.
And I like that he's still wearing the Mr. Mime outfit, even though he doesn't have to. He's just like, I'm going to troll my mom. Like, I guess that's the relationship, I guess.
Honey, and I'm glad you are. Huh? Does Ash have a twin brother?
So stupid.
Does Ash have a twin brother? You would know. You're his mom.
Mime, Mr. Mime.
I'm afraid I'm confused.
Mom, that's a real Mr. Mime.
That
Mr.
must
Mime
be
getting a
Different.
little
There's
touchy.
no difference. They look exactly the
my
same.
Ash.
Mr. Mime.
I thought it was strange that you ate so nicely.
Mr. Mime, I have some friends at the Pokemon Circus who could really use your help.
Mr. Mime, do you
Great
speak
if you
English?
could Go there with me. Mom.
No.
Please help my son, Mr. Mime. I'll make you a big dessert if you do.
Mime.
See?
Thanks, Mr. Mime.
Oh,
Bribing it.
it's yeah, creepy.
To be the Pokemon trainer.
I love that shot of Ash though. That was cool. All right, where did Team Rocket get the Team Rocket tank? That's all I'm saying.
Well, they started the episode
Let's see what
by
Mr.
landing
Mime has to
in
say
the
about that.
Team Rocket, like, official
Compound.
hideout.
Yeah.
So this has got to be like they stole it. They just walked in there and they were like, "We're part of Team Rocket. We're taking this."
So I wonder if that's in like the Viridian area, because since Giovanni is kind of based out of Viridian.
Yeah, you just use cut on one of the trees and you just walk into it.
Team Rocket loves nets.
Team Rocket.
And they're coming this way.
They haven't dug a hole
tiny.
in a while.
And you can't
Go
escape
get all
from
the
them.
Pokemon and we'll run for it. Right.
I want to know where I can get one of those shirts with a circus tent on it.
I'm sure you could look on Etsy. They've
Yep.
got to be everywhere.
Get away from us.
Are explosive missiles that shoot nets. And they have like
nets just cover the
Pokemon-sized
trucks?
nets, but then then they also have like a net big enough to cover 3 like
Let's
box trucks.
Roger.
And they say there's nothing
The camera has arms.
I know. Like, and personality. Oh, there it is. All right, we talked about the creepiness.
We've got to hurry, Mr. Mime. We've got
He's
to
like, my stomach. It's cramping up. I just had 2 bags of potato chips.
But this mime's voice is like way better and creepier and derpier than
Mime.
Ash's mom's mime.
Your mime is almost
He's like, mime.
That's my mime.
Missile ready. Lock the target.
Hold it.
Where did Ash come from? He just came from the sky.
Look, it's Ash.
Hey, Ash!
You're just in time.
Mom's in the balloon. Like, hey guys, I'm back, but don't worry, there's a tank pointed at me. It's fine.
Or we'll make your Pikachu a pancake.
We'll see about that. Pikachu, Thunderbolt, attack!
Oh my goodness. Oh no! It's made out of rubber.
All right. It's first of all, it's bolted together, which I thought was hilarious, and then they're like, "Oh no, it's made of rubber."
Your electric attacks won't work. This tank is made of rubber.
Where do
Rock us,
you-
but you
like,
can't shock us.
did you really
You can
think
rock
that
us,
ahead,
but you
that far ahead? Like, we need to make this thing out of rubber in case we get attacked by electric Pokemon.
Charizard, I choose you!
Apparently.
And this is the last time we haven't seen Charizard since the Magmar fight, and you would think
He's
that
still
there'd be a
lazy
little
as
bit more.
ever.
Yeah, clearly still no respect.
Don't obey.
Charizard, return.
He's lounging.
Your days as Mr. Hotshot Pokemon
He's
trainer
like, I just want to get the credit for being in the episode. All right, Charizard's in the episode.
The memory pal.
Put it on my
Ash and
IMDb
his friends
page.
need your help now.
Mr. Mime.
Mr. Mime.
Mr. Mime.
Mr. Mime. The action
yes.
music comes on. I know.
Another Mr. Mime.
Capture missile. Fire!
So, you know, I can appreciate, like, in the beginning of the episode when Ash walked into the light shield, it kind of, you know, he couldn't see it at all. It had no opacity, you know, it wasn't like see-through, or you know, you could see right through it. It was thin. You know, now I guess just to drive home how strong and sturdy they are, they make them almost like these thick ice blocks, but
And the tank is just crashes into it, but they don't move. They don't budge.
Mr. Mime isn't finished
can only go straight.
Oh, Mr. Mime isn't finished
Nope,
yet.
there's the other one.
Here, Mr. Mime.
We'll just go around.
Let's move this tub.
It's like you can only go in a straight line.
Not the creepy Mr. Mime voice.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Jazz hands.
Quick, quick, quick.
It's like, quick, we can't see this wall that's being built in front of us. Let's just keep going straight.
Ram it harder. That's what she said. I mean, wait, what? No.
Wrong podcast.
Wrong bad guess.
That's pretty funny. I like that.
And they basically pantomime a box around this tank.
It's like
Until it's a
Minecraft. Get it?
Minecraft. Oh my god.
I had that one in the bank from when I rewatched it. I was like, oh, I gotta use that.
That's my little Mimey.
Your mime.
Oh, the creepiness.
Its nickname. Isn't it cute?
That's so cute.
Even Ash is creeped
See,
out.
Mr. Mime, you can do so much if you try.
Mr. Mime, listen to my derpy
No, I
voice.
was wrong to be so hard on you, and I'm sorry. Won't you please perform in the circus again?
He's like, I got you, girl.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mime.
Well, that's probably a girl mime, and the other one's a guy mime.
That's a Mrs. Mr. Mime.
Mrs. Mime.
Mrs. Mr. Mime.
We can blast
It's like female Machamp. It's
Fire
weird.
all the missiles.
No! You got it.
Fire all the missiles.
Yeah, but I like how the light shields have like reflective properties.
Oh, they blew themselves up.
Well, I like that they actually said it too. They're like blasting ourselves off. Yo, this music is great. This music, it's
It's the best
I don't know.
send-off.
Yeah, like it's really cool.
Oh, Mr. Mime with an apron. Just
Yo, put in the work,
Just
right?
cooking.
He's humanoid. He could like open the jar when you need help, or like reach the pasta from the top, shelf in the cabinet.
This member of the family has manners and helps out in the kitchen. So do I.
It's like I guess if you could train him to battle, you can train him to cook.
Right? I mean, Pikachu can hold a ketchup bottle.
Well, it looks like Mr. Mime is learning what Ash has known for a long, long time. There's no place like home.
Ash, I'd like you to meet your new stepdad. To be continued. I love this episode, man. So good. So funny.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
It was,
It's comical.
But it's one of those episodes that happened a lot in the first season where you can kind of delete it from the story arc and it wouldn't matter, or you could pick it up and place it somewhere else in the timeline and it wouldn't matter.
Yeah. This one, it works in the timeline because they were just in
Viridian.
Viridian. So
Yeah.
it makes it, they're close.
But like in the beginning of the episode, they're like, all right, yeah, let's go see Professor Oak. And then they never make it to see Professor Oak, but hopefully that'll come next episode.
You'll just have to wait and listen.
Yeah, but
See.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was a really cool episode, and yeah, we're finally getting somewhere. So, and now we've come back full circle to Palette, and I'm sure once he meets Professor Oak, he'll get the direction that he needs to make it to the Pokemon League. So we'll see when we get there. Adam, you know what time it is.
Yo, keep no secrets from me.
So we were talking last week. We gave a shout out to D Keller in our Discord, because he always cracks up and busts our chops that we have like terrible pulls. And sure enough, he puts a post in the other day and he's like, yep, you guys still didn't get anything good. He's like, I'm gonna have to send you a pack. It's like, no. I'm going first. I got a green code card. All right, hold on. 1, 2, 3. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Heliolisk, Buff Padding, Kabuto, Pidgey, Grimer, Tentacool, Squirtle, Blitzel, Mankey, non-hollow Zebstrika. This was a team-up booster, by the way. Dude, another week without anything good for me. Please redeem us. Please. What booster do you have?
Lost Thunder.
Lost Thunder.
And it is a green code card. Yay. Alright, it is a Yunmask, Stunfisk, Larvitar, Litwick, Chikorita, Kirlia, Mantine, Ariados. Verse Hollow is a Poplio, and my rare is a Toxapeck.
Dude, we have the absolute worst luck on this show. Absolute terrible. It just means that next episode we're both pulling secret rares. That's all that means.
They better be secret.
I'm going to start pulling fake packs and be like, oh, look, another secret rare.
Where every card is a secret rare. This is where they were hiding.
Yeah, all legendaries all the time. Anyway, that's going to wrap up our show for this week. Thank you to everyone that made it this far and listened to the whole thing through the watch-along. Please email us, info@gottawatchemall.com. Check out gottawatchemall.com for everything that we're doing. Leave us a review in iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you can do that. That would help us out greatly, and we would really, really, really appreciate it. If you wanted to leave us a voicemail, you can do that now. Our phone number is 732-835-8639. Leave us a message, send us a photo, shoot us a text. Anyway, we'll feature you on the show. And that's pretty much it. Adam, you got anything else?
Pray for us to get something good.
Arceus, please.
Oh,
give
great
them good
Arceus.
pulls.
Please,
give them good pulls.
Please send us positive vibes for next podcast.
It'll happen. It's got to happen soon. Thanks so much, everyone, and we'll see everyone next week. Keep on training, fly.